And even if we all droids, I'm R2. My haters get lightsabers, salam through. I'm a beast on beast, just like Hans Wu. I mean Wookie, sorry, but I be tripping, yo. Welcome back, everybody. This is the G2 podcast, the G squared podcast. Yes.
G to the second power.
G to the second power podcast. And I am here with
M. Gonzalez.
And I am Jay Gonzalez, aka He Who Pods. And today we're going to talk about something that came out a long time ago, that finished months ago, and we never, ever spoke about. And what's that?
Bad Batch.
Okay, so first, for those who don't watch Star Wars stuff, Bad Batch is a group of misfits. And there's lots of stuff surrounding cloning. In Star Wars, the clones were the army for the quote-unquote good guys for most of the prequel movies, and a series that branched off after that called the Clone Wars. But in the last season of Clone Wars, they introduced a group of clones that were kind of awkward on purpose. They were altered. There were things going on with them. So one is like super smart and he's a tech guy. The other is great at strategy. Another one like can't miss. He's got so much accuracy. Another one's like big and strong. I'm missing one?
I'm trying to think. Wait a minute. There was 4 of them.
Big guy, smart guy, nerdy guy with the glasses, the leader, strategist.
He also can hear things that like weird people like.
Yeah, he's like a hunter. That's how they've set him up.
Yeah.
So he's
His name is Hunter.
His name is Hunter, and so he is a strategist and a hunter by nature. They have like these natural enhancements, or not natural enhancements, rather. They have these enhancements. What happened? I saw your face.
I was gonna say Echo, but Echo doesn't. He's not part of that.
Well, I was gonna get to that.
Yeah.
So, that's how they were introduced, as this squad of 4 elite altered clones, and then later in that season, a person who I just want to move this. One of the regular clones was altered and messed with by the bad guys, and then he became part of that elite misfit group of clones. And so a series came out from there called The Bad Batch. And then this batch, it's about that group of clones. And it takes place during the transitional phase of Star Wars. And so I hope you watch Star Wars, because if you don't, I don't know how you're going to understand half of this. But what happens next is at the end of the 3rd movie, Return of the Jedi. No.
You want me to check?
Isn't it Revenge of the Sith?
Yes.
No,
Wait,
that's wrong too.
Because that's when
Episode 3 is
5.
called. No, Episode 3 is Revenge of the Sith. Look it up.
Episode 3 with Revenge of the Sith.
You see? And so, in the end of, or really like the middle towards the end, the clone army, we find out they had a secret programming that we didn't know. And anytime they hear this specific thing, they're supposed to follow a very specific instruction. And so that is known as Order 66. And so the clones hear Order 66, and they all turn on the good guys, or the Jedi. And so they turn on the Jedi, they start killing the Jedi, and the idea is the clone army begins killing off all the Jedi, and the Bad Batch series picks up there, because they don't have these type of programming. They don't have this type of programming, so they don't know what to do. In fact, they end up saving one of the clone kids, a Jedi kid, and that ties back to a series called Rebels. Nothing to do with this right now.
I didn't like Rebels.
You didn't like Rebels?
I did, but now I don't.
You
didn't even like Rebels.
I did not like Rebels, but a lot of what we're about to get in Ahsoka comes from Rebels. And what they have done at the end of Mandalorian ties directly to Rebels.
No.
Yes, Admiral Thrawn is from Rebels.
I know. But I don't care about Rebels. I care about Ahsoka and Mandalorian. I don't care about that whack show. I like my shows. I just don't like that one.
Right, but much of Ahsoka,
I know. It comes from that
Ahsoka
one.
is picking up directly from Rebels,
I
including
know.
the person who became her apprentice we see in the trailer.
I know. But I just don't like it.
That's fine. Anywho, so the first season of this is a lot of backstory, but hey, trying to paint y'all a picture. So now the clones, this rebel group of clones, the quote unquote Bad Batch, they have to kind of figure out life now that they are not going to follow the orders and they are kind of being hunted. And so much of the first season is them trying to figure that out. The guy who is 100% accurate with his shooting, do you remember his name?
Slingshot.
Good job. Slingshot leaves and he is now with the bad guys or the Republic, the Galactic Republic. And these other four end up getting a new person.
Oh, you're right. I was going to say 5 because I thought you were forgetting Omega.
No, so I was about to say.
I know. I heard it after.
Because Echo's with them or no?
Echo, Tech, Hunter, Wrecker, Omega.
Okay, yeah.
And then
So-
it was Slingshot, but he,
All right, Slingshot left, and so the team picks up a new clone. It's a little girl, and she is a person. Her skill is she's a rapid learner. She learns very fast. That's her skill. Yes,
sorry.
I thought you like try. Hey, let me in. My turn. Pick me, teacher.
No.
So, Omega is the clone's name, the latest clone, and she ends up joining the group. And much of the season is them protecting her, teaching her, etc., as they are teamed up with a shady individual who sends them on missions for cash. The idea is they're getting cash and trying to figure out their own life while helping other clones and different things. And so this first season ends with the cloning facility being ruined as they rescue that new clone, Omega, from the cloning facility. There was a trap. They fell for it, but they went and tried to rescue Omega. The first season was interesting, and it ended beautifully. It looked like everybody died. As the cloning facility is blowing up and sinking in the water, they are on that island and going down into the water, and it looks like they all die. Well, then Disney Plus put out an announcement that season 2 of Bad Batch is coming. And I'll be honest with y'all, I wasn't happy about it. I felt it was a beautiful first season. It did what it needed to do. It filled some gaps and gave us some interesting moments. And then it looked like everybody died. I thought it was great. And then they announced season 2. And so we watched season 2. We took our sweet time. Because it was also pretty long. It was 13 episodes? 16 episodes?
I think it was 18.
18? No Disney Plus show is 18.
16,
Not
sorry,
yet.
16.
Daredevil will be 18.
Oh, 16. It was 16.
Whatever.
Sorry.
It was a lot of episodes. For most of the shows are somewhere between 6 and 10 episodes. 12 is like the max on Disney Plus. This was a long show. And it's an animated show, just like Clone Wars. It uses the same animation as Clone Wars, the series did. And so it feels familiar and cool for the younglings. And so I spoke for 10 minutes almost. Bad Batch, season 2. What are your thoughts?
Listen, it was too long. It was too long, and then I felt stuff dragged. And then I was like, okay, can we just forget the character? Like, let him be, whatever, he did his thing. But then they kept bringing him up. Like, let the character be. He
What
disappeared.
character?
Slingshot. They brought
Well,
him. They
you
keep
gotta
bringing
let
him up
them
every
know.
20 episodes. Every 20 seconds. They're going, oh, Slingshot this, Slingshot that. Be quiet. He left y'all. He left y'all to die. Forget him. Let him be. Let him be the terrible clone that he is. Let him be. Let him be. And then.
Go ahead. And then. Come on.
And then, I got brain fart. Wait a minute.
It kept bringing up Slingshot.
Oh,
What else?
and then Tech dies. I know you loved it. This is way later, but this is the only thing my brain could think about.
That's like all the way to the last episode. But yes, I do
know.
like that Tech died.
Oh, there's something in the, I don't remember the first few episodes. I'm going blank right now. Oh, and then we finally see Slingshot because they've been mentioning him the whole season, right? And then he's on some planet that's like freezing and frigid, and he shoots the guy who he was brought with to take over the base because the people there weren't doing their jobs well. And then he shoots the guy because he let the clone that went with Slingshot to go get the cargo that was stolen by ambushers, and he dies. The guy lets him die. He takes offense to it. He shoots the guy. He gets kidnapped. He sends out a frequency to his old team,
To the Bad Batch.
and they think it's a trap, but they also kind of want to go, but they let it be, whatever. And then they're at this island with their friend. Forgot her name. Whatever. The girl, and the lady who
The shady individual.
not the shady individual, not the green lady. Not Sid. We don't talk about Sid.
So who are you talking about?
The black individual with the curly hair.
Oh, the pirate the ex-pirate who's
yeah.
their friend.
Yeah, who's secretly in love with Tech, but's not secretly in love with Tech. Yeah, her. I don't know why I said the black individual. I don't know. Anyways,
I mean, that's not wrong, but
true, but it also sounds very shady.
she's also played by a black individual. She's played by Wanda Sykes. That's who does her voice. She's a comedian.
But yeah, we're gonna go to Sid because now I brought it up, and now it's bringing out the hatred. Listen, she was a beautiful character at first.
Really?
At first,
When?
she had some moments. Okay.
I don't think so.
Well, in my opinion, I felt she had at least 2 good moments. I give her that. And then she became a I can't use the actual word. Can I
A shady individual.
No, I was gonna say a female dog.
Okay, well, you said it.
A female dog. Well, I mean the actual word.
Nah,
I
can't say that.
No. That would be 2 chops to the throat. Anyways, she became a very shady and a shady individual, and she was very intrigued, and she had her personal. What was the word I said earlier when I was referring to my friend about? She had her best interest in mind, and did not care about them, and she cared about if she was getting paid or not, and if she was doing their job, and she didn't care about anything else.
Right.
And then she left them to die. Right. Very, very, very on brand for this season because everyone's being left to die. And then Wrecker gets hurt, which I don't know how because the boy is extremely tall and extremely
Gotta let the audience
muscular.
know who Wrecker is.
Okay, so Wrecker is the really strong, muscular guy that is kind of like if you go to the gym with a really like muscular friend, and they're kind of like a coach, but they're also kind of a little bit behind everybody else. It's kind of funny. It's kind of like it's like that. If you're in like a friend group and you have that one friend that it takes longer for them to comprehend everything else than everybody else, that's what it will be like. But he's very strong. He's muscular, and his first instinct is to punch. I like him because my first instinct is to throw hands and like at very violent situations, but very violent responses to not very violent situations, which is why I can relate to him a little bit. But yes, he was getting hurt left and right. I was very confused. He was very it was very sad because he kept getting hurt, and I was very confused because he's very muscular, and I thought he could handle some stuff, but he could not. So I felt like out of the bunch, he was the strongest, yet could not handle like wounds.
But that was the situation. His character, he is the muscle of the group.
Right.
He was altered genetically to be bigger, to be stronger.
Mm-hmm.
he's muscular, as you've said 17 times.
Yeah.
That's his job.
He's like a gym dad, but he's also like not really. Listen, I don't know.
I don't know either. But yeah, he is also slower mentally. There's a lot of times when they make jokes
And he'll be like,
in the show and they say stuff and he
Huh?
actually goes, huh? What? That's kind of the role of the character. But anyway, continue.
and then oh my god, I can't stop saying and like repeating words. And then we go into Omega, and she's basically a problem throughout the entire season. It's basically the entire second season was just about Omega, and I did not appreciate it. She was a good character. I thought she was very sweet, and she was trying to help, but then she got in the way. And then she had me yelling at the TV screen like they could hear me. And he was just looking at me like, are you okay? I'm like, no. She needs to move. Sorry. She got me very upset this season. And then she was being a problem.
How was she being a problem?
She was always getting them into stuff, and then when they were trying to get her out of stuff, she would go to them and make it worse. So it was not intentional, but it was a very big problem throughout the season. And it was a repeating occurrence where she would get in their way, and then it would mess up the mission, or she would do something that would help, but that in the end it would not help. So good character. She had great intentions. It just did not end the way she wanted it to. Let's see. Who else is next? Tech. Love him. Sweet. He's funny. Little bit edgy and pushy. Not edgy. Pushy. He is very adamant about things. He kind of reminds me of Robin from like Young Justice, kind of, because he's like the person that's always hacking into stuff and getting them the answers.
He's tech savvy.
Yes, there we go.
Yep.
He kind of reminds me of like a Robin, kind of, or like a mini like a Batman. So that was I appreciated his character. I thought he was a very like he was I felt he was very important in the way of where the show was going and how it developed over time. Let's see, who else? Echo. I loved him since I seen him in Clone Wars. He was in Clone Wars, right? Yes, he was. I thought he was a very important character. I thought it was nice to see how he grew and changed from when we saw him in Clone Wars, and then see his development throughout Bad Batch. And I also thought it was nice to see how he got attached to how they all got attached to Omega, and they were like protecting her. Kind of gave me Big Brother vibes, like Big Bear Brother. I don't know. It was very, that development over time was very nice to see. But per se as a character, he went through a lot because he was like kidnapped.
Yeah, but that was in Clone Wars. We talking about season 2. He wasn't kidnapped at season 2.
No. I mean, like in general, he was kidnapped and then experimented on and given these mechanical body parts, and and then I felt like he as a character, he kind of reminded me of Anakin before he went like Vader, because he was very adamant and then he went solo.
Adamant about what?
I mean, like when he thought that their plans were faulty and he thought that there was something missing.
He was very vocal.
He was very vocal. And he kind of reminded me of Anakin. Well, maybe like a little Ahsoka too, because Ahsoka was very vocal in Clone Wars, and she was very, she would speak about the problems she thought there was, and she would speak against what she thought was wrong. And I felt he did the same thing in this show. But also he reminded me of Anakin just a little bit, because he would do stuff, and he would do stuff whether they told him it was okay or not. He would kind of go against them. And then he went with Rex, and then they did stuff that wasn't really a part of what the Bad Batch thought was, good.
Yeah.
And then he left. So, yeah. And then let's see who else.
The show, girl.
Hunter.
What the season? Season
I
2.
know, but then I'm trying to talk about the characters because they all tie into it. All right, whatever. Back to the show. I forgot what I said last.
The season started off good.
Oh, the season started off good. But then it had a lot of ups and downs. I felt it dragged a lot. I felt parts were not needed, and then some parts were very needed, and then we didn't get a lot of it. I felt we got a lot of the stuff that wasn't necessary. I felt the show was very long. I felt that it shouldn't have been that long. And the show overall, at first, was a very great show, like I said. There were certain parts I loved more than I liked others. And then at the end, it just started dragging a lot, and then they were repeating stuff, and they were going back to stuff. And then it felt kind of how Flash did. How it was dragging a lot, and then stuff was being repeated, and it was basically the same thing at the end. It was basically the same few things at the very end. Yeah. But overall, it was a decent show. Wasn't terrible. Wasn't amazing. Don't know if I'd watch it again, but it was decent.
Better than season 1?
No.
Didn't think so.
Heck no.
All right. So the theme of this season was loyalty and change. Those were the two themes. And so changes are happening where the clones that are still part of the clone army are starting to rebel against the Galactic Republic. That's one of the changes. There were changes with the team. Echo left right after Slingshot left. And so Omega has attachment issues. That caused a lot of issues throughout the show. Multiple times, Sid's loyalty was tested. The clones' loyalty was tested. Loyalty was tested between the clones and, other characters. That's cool. But I don't need this many episodes. Get to the point. I know that the Clone Wars show was long episodes. But that was a long time ago. And this is not Clone Wars. I don't want to see that many episodes because I am not invested in these characters. Clone Wars had lots of characters from the films, and they were interwoven into the show. One of the main characters was Anakin Skywalker. One of the main characters was Obi-Wan Kenobi. Those people are not in these shows because time has passed and they're doing other things, and they have other shows for them and the things going on with them. This group that y'all created just to make a TV show, I don't need more and more seasons of them. It's not really furthering along anything that's really vital. Yes, they closed some teeny tiny gaps they had in season 1. Like I said, we saw that child escape who was a Jedi that they helped. That was a main character in the show Rebels. This tells us his past a little bit. All right, cool. But there's no need for a season 2. And if you're going to make a season 2, well, then actually further along the story. Really, a lot of nothing happened this season. The clones are on their own. They're no longer with Sid. Sid betrayed them, even though they saved her multiple times. And they were loyal to her in, critical moments. Once again, we're back to chasing, basically running around like a dog chasing its tail because they are trying to save another clone in their crew. The best part of the whole series was Tech dying. I like when main characters die. It gives depth to the show. It's a shocking moment. It was good that he died finally. But there's really nothing going on here that we need to know. They ended the show going back to cloning and them trying to do different things with clones, which is foreshadowing the later movies that Disney put out and how Lord Sidious was cloned. Because that's the thing they're trying to fill the biggest gap on, which you see in the end of Mandalorian. They're speaking about cloning and how we can create people and we can create creatures by mixing different strands of DNA, different parts of different creatures and people's DNA. And so that's kind of where the season ended. But really, we don't need more of that because we already got that in Mandalorian. So this season really was a nothing sandwich. There really wasn't anything super fly happening here. Um, I didn't really care for it. I don't have much to say because there really wasn't much happening. They gave us a fake race. What's the pod racing? They gave us like a fake remix for pod racing. I don't know why. They had the clones going on missions that they just failed. Really was no point to it except to say like, man, this would be easier if so and so was here. You know, it really didn't do much for them, for the overall arc of Star Wars that they're trying to further along. It really didn't do much of anything. So I think it was a waste. And I get that it's more for the kids than for adults, but it really wasn't that entertaining either, as you heard the child say. And so I don't know. It wasn't for me. I don't think it was really good. Yeah, the character development part is cool, but that's all there really was. It was just, challenging the characters here and there, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It was whack to me. To me, there was nothing really exciting except Tech dying and the way he died. That's it. I didn't really care for much else. Yeah, keep bringing back Saul Guerrero. That's cool, but we don't need to keep seeing him. We already know what he did. Give him a live action show if y'all want to really tell us about Saul Guerrero or Guerrero, whatever his name is.
Saul Guerrero.
Yeah, it's not really much to do here. Yeah, I got nothing. Not much more to say. Wasn't really anything fly about this one, and so that's it. Any last thoughts?
I feel like they're just going in circles now. I feel like everything is just repeating itself now. Like in general, I mean the shows and everything are just repeating itself. And I feel like Bad Batch told us a lot of what Mandalorian and Clone Wars and a little bit of what Rebels told us. And I feel like they're just repeating everything now. And now it's starting to be like, oh, well, now I don't want to watch this.
Got it.
But yeah, that's about it.
All right, that's about it. So we'll be back real soon with another episode. You know, we still doing punches and bunches, short episodes to play catch up. So we're out. See y'all in a hot minute.
Bye.